Hi everybody, welcome back to today's topic. So in today's class, I want to talk about a big picture comment on all of English. And it's, once again, we're talking a little bit about Hangul. So many English words can be represented with Hangul, and it's so tempting for us to just take every English word and rewrite it in Hangul. And you might say to yourself, yeah, that's the most natural way for a Korean to sort of read and understand a foreign language. I agree. But you can't expect that everything can be represented by Hangul. And there's one thing that I want to mention that I've actually mentioned in previous classes. Some sounds are voiced, some sounds are unvoiced. Do you remember when I talked about the S sound and I said that this is unvoiced. Z, this is voiced. Okay. Now, the trick in Korea is that there are a lot of words where you could just write the word out in Korean, Hangul, and you can exactly represent the word. There are thousands and thousands of words, and here's the trick. If the word ends in a vowel sound, then Hangul can write it correctly. A random Korean could walk up on the street, read it, and their pronunciation would sound like perfect English. It would sound like good English pronunciation. That's great. However, for a bunch of words, and I mean, again, thousands and thousands, for thousands of words that do not end in a vowel sound, we have a problem. Because what a lot of Koreans are doing is they are adding a voice to a sound that should not have one, okay? So for example, if I say a word like smart, and I wrote it out as smart, now what are you doing? The ending of that word is t, but of course it needs some kind of a vowel in Hangul, so we add one. So a random person walks up and they read smart, and they add another voice, right? They add a sound at the end that should not be there. So what I want you guys to think about today is if there is no vowel at the end of the word, I cannot add a vowel sound. It's that simple. You have to learn to pronounce consonants in English without the voice, okay? Smart. So I can say t without right? I've separated those two. And of course, I've had, 10, 20, 30 years learning my native language. So there's nothing surprising about it. But I think that Koreans have learned for 10 or 20 or 30 years, they've actually learned to kind of identify these things together through Hangul. Let's go through a few practice examples together, and I'll show you what I mean. So up on the screen, I have one word that is cheers. That is cheers. Can you repeat after me? Cheers. Okay. Now, cheers is actually a problem because the shiut, as we talked about, here's how you would write it in Korean. Cheers. There should not be a vowel sound at the end of this word. Cheers. It should not be cheers. I don't want to say s or s. I just want to say s. Cheers. Okay. So there actually should not be a vowel sound. Let's look at another one that's a little bit better in Korean. Okay. Chicago. Okay. So you can see from this word that it clearly ends in an O. It clearly ends in a vowel sound. So if I just wrote this out in Hangul, I would read it as Chicago. If I wanted to try to make it sound Korean, I could say that. But as you can tell, it actually works perfectly. I can write it out and there's no problem. There might be a little bit of an accent, but that doesn't matter. It sounds perfectly clear. Chicago. It's great, right? All right, let's try some more. So what I'm going to do next is I actually want to throw some at you, and I want you to take a second and figure out if you think it should be correct in Hangul or incorrect in Hangul. All right? So word number one is type. Okay, I'll give you a second. Think about it. Pause the video. What do you think? Is it correct in Hangul or not? Okay, we're back. I would say it is incorrect in Hangul. It should be type. In Hangul, it would be type. Type. Okay, there's that p at the end. Type. Type. That is that extra voice at the very end of the word. We don't want that. We want to learn how to say the P without the sound. Okay? Type. Type. Okay? P, p, p. There's no voice. Okay? This is the challenge. This is the challenge. All right, so identify, does the word end in a vowel sound? A, E, I, O, U, and a Y. Does it end in a vowel sound? If it is, great. I can just read it as if it was Hangul. If it doesn't, I have to be very careful that I do not end this word with with a voice, right? Because there isn't one. Okay? Let's go to the next word. Martini. Martini. All right. Pause the video, check out the word yourself, and you tell me. Is it correct in Hangul or is it incorrect? All right, so you're back. Tell me, is it correct in Hangul? Yes, it is. Yes, exactly. It's perfect. Matini. Matini. All right, I'm just focusing at the very end of the word because that's what we're focusing on in today's class. Just the very end. Ni is basically a vowel sound. It's the E sound. So yes, it's totally fine in Korean. Don't worry about it. You don't have to worry about changing your voice. It's fine. Last word for today is English. Last word for today is English. Okay? Pause the tape. You decide, is it correct if I read it in Hangul? Is it correct? Or do I need to pronounce it a special way? All right. Welcome back. Welcome back. You tell me, correct or incorrect? It's incorrect. It's incorrect, right? So the ending of English is SH. Obviously, that's not a vowel. So the temptation for me is to say English. English. No, 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 no. I have to learn how to say shh. There's no voice here. There's no voice, okay? There's no voice. So English, English, that is what I have to learn, right? You could just open up a dictionary, you just look up random words, and you can say, okay, does it end in a vowel? Yes? Okay, well then I'm just gonna read it how it looks. Does it end in a consonant? Yes? Okay, well now I have to make sure that I don't add a voice at the end. It's the last syllable. That's where I'm most worried, right? So it's not English, 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 English. Okay, shh. Right? There's no voice. It's just air coming out. Shh. There's no voice here. Thank you very much for today's class. I know this is a big picture one, and it's kind of a weird one to kind of put in the back of your mind is next time you speak to a foreigner, next time you practice English with your teacher, think about some of the words and try your best to activate this voiceless sound when a word ends in a consonant. All right, I'll see you in the next class.